So we are live. Hi everyone, my name is Ria Rustigi and I'm the co-founder of a startup PunkTech in Munich, and we are developing a wearable neurofeedback device which validates your mental health. So it tracks your brain activity and tells you and helps you in diagnosing and helps you in understanding your sleep patterns, your stress levels, your anxiety, and more such information about your brain. As a part of our startup, we have a Facebook Live every Sunday called Illuminating Sundays. And today we have Arouba Kabir she's the founder of Enso Wellness in Gurgaon, India. Thank you, Arouba, for joining our platform today.
Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So, today we are talking about emotional intelligence and mental health. So, for emotional intelligence, I feel is the most important aspect for mental health, and Aruba is an expert in that, so I won't comment anything here. We'll just ask with her the questions. Uh, Aruba is certified in CBT, art therapy, yoga, meditation, and many more such techniques to help with mental health. And she specializes in trauma, relationship, and emotions. So, Aruba, how did you get into this domain?
Wow, that's such an interesting journey I've had. There was a point when I was looking for a therapist and I didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
I did go to a counselor, I did go to a psychiatrist, and they suggested me to see a counselor. I did go to a counselor. I was battling with my health, I was unwell.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with a progressive medical condition called cystic fibrosis. And I was given some limited years. I was 21. I was told maybe 27 is the life expectancy you have. And I really wanted to see a therapist. And the counselors I did see back then, they were like, try to live. But I didn't know how to live. I was like, how?
Very true.
Try to build emotional resilience. But
Mm-hmm.
how?
Okay.
Try to do this. So I didn't know. They were giving me all the things they knew. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, first, it all started with yoga and meditation, and then
Mm-hmm.
physiotherapy and Pilates, and then the counseling. Then it started. I was like, okay, if I have to help myself, I better get certified in all these things. Then I
Mm-hmm.
started traveling the world. I went to different parts of the world in India, to remote areas, learned things from people,
Mm-hmm.
and got certifications. But it was all to help myself. It was not that I wanted to become a counselor, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to become someone. I was a journalist, I was doing pretty good in my life, I was working with a news channel.
Wow.
I had a psychology background but never thought of pursuing it. But then when I did that and I saw the results on me, I was a person who was going to die and I didn't see myself dying. And I was a person who was on steroids and was on antidepressants and
Oh God.
was going through a lot, and it
Mm-hmm.
I was changed. There was this radiance on my face and I looked younger and I lost weight. I was more aware of myself and I was like, wow. And that's how it started. Then I was like, okay, maybe I can do for other people. But initially it was just to help myself, and I still say that when I do the therapy. Past 7 years I have been professionally active. I have my startup, I have been engaged in creating awareness. I'm advocate for mental health, have been advocating for rare diseases. But still I say, if I do therapy, if I do anything in mental health, it is not for anyone else, it is for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I do every day. I take a session, I do a live, I do a webinar. It is
Mm-hmm.
not for anyone else, that it is to help myself because I want to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it started. And it's like
Wow.
amazing now. I love it every day.
This is such an inspiring journey. I have seen actually a lot of people who've themselves gone through this come out like really stronger and brighter because they know how it feels to be on the other side and they really want to help. And this is such an amazing motivation to actually be a therapist because you can feel relatable to the person who is on the chair in front of you, and you can help them better because you know how it feels on that side.
I guess yes, that has really given me a lot of my clients who come
Mm-hmm.
from good professions and businesses, and they always tell me it is your USP
Yeah.
because you are able to relate. When I tell someone I understand what you are going through, I
Mhm.
really mean it, because
Mhm.
I have battled it and I
Mhm.
still have health issues. My
Mhm.
medical condition lives with me.
Mhm.
And I always say I live with CF.
Mhm.
So we live together. So
Mhm.
I know how it is that every day you can be sick and you have to pull yourself up.
Mhm.
And when I tell that to someone who is going through a bad time, rough
Mhm.
time, I really mean it. And I guess that way they connect with me more. I
Mhm.
always, when I, counseling webinars I take for students, and I tell them, be a friend and not a friend. They're like, what does that mean? How can you be a friend with a client and not a friend? I'm like, you connect with them from a space of empathy,
Mhm.
kindness,
Yeah.
but you are not their best friend that they can come and say anything.
Yeah.
They don't cross that boundary with you. So I guess that is what my journey has given me and has taught me.
Wow. I have one more question here. Now we say that it's still a stigma. And at that time, I couldn't imagine, like 5 or 10 years back, what it felt like. So, can you comment something on that part? How this has changed over the years?
Oh my God! Like I remember, like when I was put on antidepressants, and first my mom told me, I have a very supportive family. They've never
Mm-hmm.
shied away from taking psychiatrist help or
Mm-hmm.
anyone. They've always been there. But she was very vocal about it. She said, "Okay, fine, you are having it, but just don't talk about it. Don't tell
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
सोचेंगे कि दिमाग खराब हो गया है.
Mm-hmm.
They will think that you lost your
Yeah.
mind." So, but does did that mean that she stopped me when I started talking about it?
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, it took me. It started at the age of 21.
Wow.
I only opened up about my depression in 2000. 21, 24.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 years, when
Wow.
I was off antidepressants,
Mm-hmm.
then I came out of my thing, and I told people that I have been there, because otherwise people used to give me looks,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
why are you this puffy, because I was on antidepressants. So when
Mm-hmm.
I started, this is one of the reasons that on Instagram my handle is mental health dot therapist,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to make this mental health word sound as normal as physical health.
Exactly.
You don't think before you go to a physician. You're like,
Yes.
where are you going? Oh, I'm going to go orthopedician, gynecologist,
Exactly.
neurologist. But the minute you say I'm going to psych, you're like, no, no, I'm going to see a relative. I'm going to meet a friend.
Uh,
You have stolen something. You are
yes.
like in that place.
Yes.
But it has changed a lot, and I'm so super proud of the people. I
Mm-hmm.
thought pehle ki it is only in India. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it is only in India people,
Uh-huh.
but it was all over. When I
Yes.
saw it actually in real,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was in London and I saw there people are also, okay, we go to a counselor, but just saying it
Mm-hmm.
slowly,
Yeah.
slowly and all. So the stigma was everywhere, but
Everywhere.
maybe in our country it was more.
Mm-hmm.
So I really feel so good to see the change. Now
Mm-hmm.
I can tell people that I'm a counselor,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't think I'm analyzing them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or people tell that they date and they tell the person, I have a
Then,
counselor, I go
yeah.
to a therapist, and
Mm-hmm.
people are accepting it. That is happening. And plus, COVID-19 also gave a very positive
Mm-hmm.
outlook towards mental health.
Mm-hmm.
People opened up, people realized that this is something we need to talk about. So I guess, yeah, it's pretty different. It's completely different now what it was 10 years back.
Wow, it's good that it has improved, but we still feel that there's so much to go, and it's all over the world, as you said, US, Europe, India. The situation is same. You will find some people everywhere who are not very accepting towards this concept still.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Perfect. So I have prepared few questions for you, and let's. The audience will also keep on asking questions, so I'll keep on shooting these questions to you. So the first thing is animotophobia is the fear of emotions, and I feel with my peers and my friends that as current time there is an afraid people are afraid to show their vulnerability and emotions even if they care about someone, be it dating, they are afraid to show this side. So do you think that this has an impact on mental health?
Definitely has an impact on mental health. I always tell people that if we were supposed to live alone in our
Mm-hmm.
own shell, we would have been born out of a cell, not out of two people. not out of love, not
Mm-hmm.
out of sexual intercourse. It would have been just one person. And you know how in some insects or animals it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So there would have been other ways of reproduction. Why do we have these two people come close? So there's a way when these emotions are shown, when that touch is there, when that love is there, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of hormones are released
Mm-hmm.
and you feel stress free.
Yeah.
So if now people are suppressing those emotions, not showing that love and care, and not having those social skills, it definitely is impacting you. It can make you a passive aggressive person. It can
Mm-hmm.
make you a depressed person, lonely,
Mm-hmm.
anxious. Before COVID-19, when COVID-19 started, people started using this term social distancing a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember this client of mine, he called me in the middle of the night, and he's like, I'm getting a panic attack, ma'am. I was like, are you all right? What happened? He's
Mm-hmm.
like, people have been using this word social distancing, and you have been giving me therapy for my social anxiety. Now
Mm-hmm.
I am confused. Do I need to have social distance, or I need to have physical distance? And
Mm-hmm.
from the next
Yeah.
very day, I changed my terminology. I did
Mm-hmm.
not use social distancing anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I used physical distancing. So that is what it does to people. When you are not showing your emotions, when you're in your childhood, when your parents have not been quite open
Mm-hmm.
in showing their emotions towards you, just like touching you,
Mm-hmm.
kissing you, hugging you, it
Yeah.
impacts you in very, very big ways.
Wow.
We don't realize that, but it has direct impact on mental health. And then you say mental health, then it shows on your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
When you have mental stress, then your blood pressure, your thyroid, your PCOD, your back issues,
Mm-hmm.
your cervical issues, your migraine issues, everything comes. And then you go to a physical doctor, and a physical doctor most of the time says it is repetitive stress injury,
Yeah.
it is stress. So you see that emotional health is impacting your mental health, that is impacting your physical health. And that is why I tell people that mental health should be as important as physical health. Come on. Yeah.
This is so amazing the way you have explained it, because now people can actually kind of correlate to few examples, especially like right now we talked about parenting and dating. And I want you to emphasize a little bit on this as well. Share your opinion on this, that how does these when people are not sharing their emotions towards even their parents and even towards work, and they are like, because I know a lot of people, and very frankly I was there at a time when I was going through difficult stages in my life, and after that I was like, oh, my friends didn't behave the way I wanted them to. And then after that I'm like, I really don't care about my friends, I don't care about people, I have a very small close knit circle now. But it kind of does impact, because then you are suppressing your anger, as you said, you have irritation, you try to channel that energy somewhere else to your other relationships, and that can also get impacted, right?
It does. It does. In fact, I'll just give you so I give more examples because that way people
Yes.
understand. So I was working with this woman, and she had relationship issues right now in
Mm-hmm.
present with a partner who she was with for 2.5 years, and there was no clarity. And the guy said that I'm leaving you,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's like, how can this happen? He should have blah blah and all that. Now
Mm-hmm.
when we went there, and it went directly to the pattern, back. It has happened before. It has happened before. It is. So I asked her when I started this. I said, tell me about your first relationship. So, oh, that is not important at all.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
didn't, it was not important, so I don't think so I need to talk about. I don't even miss him, I don't even think about him
Mm-hmm.
ever. I said it's absolutely okay. But when we did the cognitives, it's happening, talking therapy is happening. So directly it goes there. That was the first time she felt rejected. That was the
Mm-hmm.
first time she felt cheated. That was the
Mm-hmm.
first time she felt her ego got hurt. How
Mm-hmm.
can he leave me? Now every
Yes.
time she's in a relationship, it is going back there. But
Mm-hmm.
had she expressed her anger, her
Mm-hmm.
ego burst, her whatever emotion she had to him, then
Mm-hmm.
and there, it would have been resolved.
Yeah.
But she suppressed. She said
Mm-hmm.
that, no, it doesn't bother me. Okay, he's leaving, so what? But see, at the age of 17, that happened. Now, at the age of 40, she
Mm-hmm.
is suffering. So
Wow.
that it is so important to express ourselves. If our friends have told, we all have this inner circle, outer
Mm-hmm.
circle in our friends. Or
Mhm.
when we date people, we have this who is coming, how much closer, time, intensity, and
Mhm.
everything matters. So according to that, you know what kind of expectation you have.
Mhm.
Just express it. It's very important. And for people who have who are very much aware of themselves, they can express themselves freely, openly,
Yeah.
without being scared.
Yes.
So that is the beauty of it.
Mhm.
One should express, but then it comes from the childhood. If your parents were not expressive,
Mhm.
that is the first point of contact you have had with emotions. And I always
Yes.
tell people that, they teach you everything. They teach you how to wear your clothes, how to talk to your elders, how to
Mhm.
go to school, how to grade good, but they don't teach you how to talk emotions.
Mm-hmm. And this is very good because you pointed out that how it can go from the childhood, but also I feel that now, like my parents who were always very emotionally expressive, be it anger, be it sadness, anything was easily out there. But then I remember there were times when my brother, especially, expressed his emotions at a very young age. A lot of people used to make fun of the guys. Even now, girls, it's the same thing with girls nowadays. Like at the age of 10 or maybe 12 or 13, now these kind of issues also get, because you should not cry, you know.
And there is this healthy and unhealthy emotion. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
tell people. All the emotions we have been given, there's fear, there's anxiety, there's guilt, there's
Mm-hmm.
embarrassment, there's happiness, any emotion
Mm-hmm.
we have been given for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't have that fear of guilt, you might have done a lot of wrong things in your life,
Yeah.
morally wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
we have been given every emotion for a reason. But
Mm-hmm.
when these emotions start feeding on you, become a
Mm-hmm.
parasite, are
Yeah.
taking your happiness away, making you
Mm-hmm.
lonely, making you
Mm-hmm.
socially withdrawn, and you are not being the person you are, then it is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you feel like, I cry when I'm
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed with happiness. I can see
Mm-hmm.
something beautiful and tears can just
Mm-hmm.
flow. And my family is so used to it. My brother tells me one day, "You're looking at a plant and crying." I'm like, "Look how beautiful it is." So my family is used to it now, but it is important. You
Mm-hmm.
need to let those emotions out, and you don't have to judge people for that. There are some people who literally feel. There are two type of people.
Mm-hmm.
One is like physical people. Physical
Mm-hmm.
people are like people us who can feel the emotion and feel it in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am someone who is not very much in control of my emotions and my heart is broken, I can literally feel my heart crushing, physical pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say my legs are weak, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not able to stand.
Mm-hmm.
I would literally feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are people who are emotional people, and we call them emotional suggestible people. And they are the people who feel the emotion in their head, they rationalize it in their head, it's over. They will show it in their body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can
Now,
actually
is
have
this one?
people coming to my mind in both the categories.
Yeah. So now, can you say that this is right and this is wrong? No, both of them are
Mm-hmm.
beautiful in their own ways. That
Mm-hmm.
is how the balance of the world is. Agar, if
Exactly.
everybody would be like rational person, then what
Mm-hmm.
would happen with the rest of the people? And if everybody is like a physically crying person all the
So,
time, what will happen to the other half? So we are
exactly.
balancing, we are complementing each other. But
Yeah.
you just need to be aware of yourself. What
Mm-hmm.
are you feeling right now?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you take better control of it so that it is not
Yes.
affecting you negatively and
Mm-hmm.
it is not affecting other people?
Mm-hmm.
Can it be cultivated? Definitely. You can
Mm-hmm.
always cultivate the resource. Can you change from physical to emotion, emotion to physical? You
Mm-hmm.
can do that.
Yeah.
Basic nature ek rahega. That would be this basic thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you can always play with it in a
Mm-hmm.
very healthy manner.
I know.
And that is what we tell people.
Yes. Thank you so much. This is such a good examples because it's very important for people to feel relatable to either one of these, and it's very difficult to get people to give these examples. Thank you so much, Aruba. There was an amazing explanation. Okay, so the next question is, what is emotional intelligence really? Because generally people talk about IQ, they don't talk about EQ.
This emotional intelligence is nothing but a social ability.
Mm-hmm.
How you deal your emotions, how
Mm-hmm.
strong you are in controlling your emotions, not in a like controlling, dominating way, but handling it better.
Mhm.
And there are like 5 areas of it, we always say:
Mhm.
self awareness,
Mhm.
self regulation,
Mhm.
empathy,
Mhm.
motivation, and social skills.
Okay.
So, if you are very much self aware of yourself, you know how to
Mhm.
regulate yourself. You know how can you regulate your emotions, and then
Yeah.
you have better empathy,
Mhm.
and all these things. You know, there is better motivation, there are better social skills, and a person who has good amount of emotional intelligence, like
Mhm.
self awareness and control,
Mhm.
they are generally people who can express themselves freely.
Mhm.
They can just express, they can talk to you, they can make you feel better, they can get work done better, they
Mhm.
will have better relationships.
Mhm.
And is it something very difficult to cultivate? No, it is very easy to cultivate
Mhm.
if you just become aware. And that's why being mindful is so important. What are you
Yes.
doing right now? A lot of people, you know, when I used to teach meditations,
Mhm.
I still do meditation workshops, is one of
Mhm.
my favorite activities. And back then, when I did not do the therapy, when I was not in this field, I used to tell them that be mindful, don't think about the future, think about the present. And people used to ask me, if we don't think about the future, what is going to happen to our future, how would we take care of that? But when I realized, when I started therapy, and I realized the human nature and everything, if you are in present,
Mhm.
mindful of your decisions,
Mhm.
your relationship, your professional life, your investments, your social life is going to be much better,
Mhm.
because you are doing everything with an awareness, you
Yeah.
are taking right decisions. For example, LIC policy, future
Mhm.
investment. If you are being mindful now, you will know which policy is better. You will
Mhm.
know which policy to invest in. If you're
Yeah.
not confused, your
Yes.
decision making is better. So that is going to be your future.
Mhm.
You will know which college to choose, which
Mhm.
city to relocate to.
Mhm.
But you do all that when you are emotionally strong,
Mhm.
capable. You are
Yeah.
able to do that. So
Mhm.
that is what emotional intelligence is about. And mostly we use these emotional intelligence in corporate workshops and, you know,
Yeah.
corporate wellness. But it is very much in everyday's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, here also I would like you to give an example. So, can you give me an example of a person who is, let's say, let's talk about students. Let's talk about there is one person who is very clean and very adamant on the fact that where he has to take his career, and there is another person who are confused, who are not aware, who are not conscious about what they want to do. So, how can we actually determine which person has a higher EQ? Like, what are the small changes people can make?
You know, people can be intelligent and super
Yes.
intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
but they might not have good EQ.
Yeah.
We have a prime minister of
Mm-hmm.
India who is not so well educated, not
Mm-hmm.
trained
Yeah.
professionally,
Mm-hmm.
but he has such beautiful EQ. That is
Yes.
what makes him a good orator.
Yeah.
That's what makes him to push people. That
Mm-hmm.
is what makes him, like, people follow him for that. That is the emotional because he is
Mm-hmm.
using the emotions.
Yes. Yes.
That is where you can be the topper of the class, and if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have good emotional intelligence, you will not have good relationship with your teachers, you will not have good relation with your peers, you will, people will not be there to support you, then you will be a one man army.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing everything on your own, there
Mm-hmm.
is no support, and then that is the time when you get lonely, then you get
Yeah.
depressed. I have no one to talk to. What can I do with the success?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they think success does not make you happy? It is
Yes.
not the money, it is not the, like,
Mm-hmm.
we have now seen people,
Yeah.
it is the emotional intelligence. End of the day, your social skills, your level of empathy,
Mm-hmm.
your motivation to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a job which pays you crores, but you are not actually motivated to do it because it is not, it was, you know, especially talking about South Asian countries,
Mm-hmm.
when we say until 17 or 18 everything is decided for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of clothes we wear, which school we go to, what course we take, what stream we do take, everything is decided. But you are still told, oh, you, it is your own choice. But actually, it is all set for you.
Yeah.
It was decided for you.
Yeah.
So Then at the age of 17 and 18,
Mm-hmm.
you go to college. Now all of a sudden, where will that emotional intelligence come from?
Yeah.
You, it was not cultivated. You were not given any responsibility. If you were given any responsibility as a child, maybe bring groceries, go and
Mm-hmm.
buy groceries. That
Yeah.
is one responsibility. You would have gone, you would have smiled at the shopkeeper. Maybe
Yeah.
you would have smiled at the person who was helping you with buying the stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
You would have smiled at your driver. You would have said
Exactly.
thank you. So these all things, but you are not given any. You are bacha, you are a child, you don't know anything. Be home, everything is taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
and then expected all of a sudden to change, and you don't.
Actually, you just gave the perfect example because when I came to Germany first and when I started making friends with the local people here, the first question I was asked was Indians don't say thank you a lot, right? And I was like, what kind of question is that? And then I actually stopped and analyzed, and then we realized that yes, we don't say thank you for everything. Like, even if the waiter is serving us, even if we are given coffee or somebody's offering us something and we don't want, we don't say thank you. And these are the small kind of, I think, things you were talking about, that this creates and causes these EQ to increase.
Yes, it cultivates in you, and then you can. That is what the empathy is about, where
Mm-hmm.
you have that kindness.
Yeah.
When you cultivate that kindness for people, so what we think is, okay, I am paying money, and this person has to do this job.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, be grateful that person chose to take your money.
Mm-hmm.
What if he
Yeah.
chose to take someone else's money and
Exactly.
not your money?
Mm-hmm.
There are choices everywhere. Like I
Mm-hmm.
have a help at home. During this COVID times, he didn't even tell once that I have to go home or something. He was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to go home, but he didn't. He told me I'll go in November. So
Mm-hmm.
he chose to stay here. Now
Yeah.
should I say that I'm paying him and he is staying here for money? No. I am being grateful that he chose to
Yes.
stay here. And I have to be grateful for that. But people don't have that gratitude
Yeah.
because we were not taught.
Mm-hmm.
It is all it again comes.
My
It was
God,
not there.
this is such an important topic. I feel like talking to you on hours for this, but because this is one thing I really want to point out, because I've seen people in India in our circles. My father comes from a business background, and I've seen that people who are like really, really, really successful, as they go up the ladder, the grounded factor, which we say, right, that the person is not grounded, these kind of things do pop up. And in the sense that people start losing these small small aspects. One question from me to you here is, and it's off script, do you think that this is one of the reasons that why at such high executive positions we have people who are like really stressed, because they are all about their IQ and not EQ? Can that be one of the factors?
That is very true. That is very true. They go for more for intelligence and not
Mm-hmm.
emotional coefficient. And it just happens that, yeah, I do understand there are bigger responsibilities they
Mm-hmm.
have to take, but forgetting that, every building has a foundation, every
Yeah.
relationship has a foundation. Forgetting the foundation, if you don't take care of the foundation, the building will collapse.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, if you're not that, and that foundation is gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have gratitude, you release a particular hormone called oxytocin,
Yes.
and when oxytocin is released, a lot of stress is gone from your body,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel motivated, your
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem is boosted.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things, I'm not just saying because I work in the field of psychology. You go
Yeah.
and see the neurological
Yes.
researchers.
Yeah.
There are researches about it. They have seen the oxytocin is released when you give someone a
Yes.
smile.
Yeah.
And if it is like unexpected, that
Mm-hmm.
you're not expecting anything from someone and
Mm-hmm.
you do it for them, that unconditional,
Mm-hmm.
more oxytocin is released.
Mm-hmm.
It can be that, slowing down your car on the way to let somebody cross the road,
Yeah.
and you feel a sense of achievement. You're like, wow, I did
Yes.
a good job.
Yes.
And you did a good job, oxytocin is flowing. And
Yes.
when that flows, your body feels less stressed, you can
Mm-hmm.
focus better, your productivity goes up. I told you, there could be leaders who are super intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
but they lack emotional coefficient. They will not
Yes.
be able to take the company to bigger level. Whereas there are people who are average intelligent, but if they
Mm-hmm.
have good emotional coefficient, they can
Yeah.
uh, relate with people better. They get the jobs done. They
Yeah.
are shiny and smiley. Everybody around them is happy. They're
Mm-hmm.
working. and it shows a lot in leaderships.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much, Ruba. These are perfect examples. So, yes, my next question would be, what is emotional resilience then?
Emotional resilience. I can give an example. Have
Mm-hmm.
you seen the movie Room?
Room?
The Room or Room.
No.
There's a book also about it. So it's about a woman
Okay.
who gets abducted, kidnapped by a person in her young teen years.
Mm-hmm.
She just disappears, goes out of her home, and she disappears. Her family.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real life story. It has happened in one of the countries. I don't remember which country.
Okay.
This is a very famous book, and then a movie has also come. And
Mm-hmm.
he keeps her at one place in a room in a basement. She has a son also, and
Mm-hmm.
she never sees the sunlight after that. He gives her all the supplies there, but in a
Mm-hmm.
very miserable way.
Mm-hmm.
So that movie is a perfect example of emotional resilience.
Mm-hmm.
She adjusts
Mm-hmm.
to the and she creates a very safe environment in that one particular room where there is nothing. She cannot
Mm-hmm.
even see the sunlight, where
Mm-hmm.
her teeth fall because lack of vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
There is no sunlight and all,
Yeah.
but she creates a safe environment in that room for her and for her son. She
Mm-hmm.
tells her son, every time that man will come, there's a particular wardrobe where you will go and hide,
Mm-hmm.
so that he doesn't see what he does to her. And
Wow.
it's just one room. And she teaches him a lot of stuff, that emotionally how can you be strong, how not to get angry. So it is actually ability to withstand
Mm-hmm.
those emotional or physical difficulties, finding the right ways, coping mechanisms. That is emotional resilience.
Okay.
That now COVID-19 came.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, people started feeling lonely, anxious,
Mm-hmm.
depressed. All relationships started falling apart. Why? Because they didn't know the coping mechanisms. They didn't know how to build the relationships. They didn't know how to invest in them.
Yeah.
That is emotional resilience. And then people started saying, emotional resilience is gone. That is what is emotion, where you know how
Mm-hmm.
you can make something work.
Okay. So emotional resilience is something which we can build within ourselves, and by building the emotional resilience, a person can be have a higher EQ basically.
Yes, definitely. It is
Okay.
directly, related.
Mm-hmm.
If you can build good emotional resilience in you,
Mm-hmm.
you will definitely have better, because then you will have better control of your emotions.
Okay.
So we always say, did you answer? Did you have a conversation to react or to respond?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Generally, talking to you right now, I'm responding back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to you, I hear you, I
Mm-hmm.
understand, I process. It's a communication like this. You
Yeah.
are saying something, it is coming here, I'm connecting here, it's going there.
Mm-hmm.
But in reaction, people are like this. You say something, I am
Mm-hmm.
your dad.
Yeah.
It's like draining of energy.
Gee.
You
Okay.
say something, I am reacting. I say something, you are reacting. So that is what happened during this COVID came, people started reacting, people didn't
Mm-hmm.
respond, people didn't process it,
Okay.
people didn't take it. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have better emotional resilience, you will definitely have amazing emotional intelligence.
Okay. And now, how can we build emotional resilience?
Number one, being aware of yourself. What are
Mm-hmm.
you feeling in the moment? What is it? And
Mm-hmm.
why are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ria told me something and I got angry. Is
Mm-hmm.
it she told me something and I got angry, or is it she told something which has been told to me before also?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, this like, so this person I was taking a session for, and she said, people say I'm short tempered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, people say, who said?
Mm-hmm.
Like my fiance said. I said, okay, who else said?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Even my mother used to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and who else said? Even my neighbors used to say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was, like, as a child, she might have done something, and they labeled her as a short-tempered person.
Person.
Now she came to therapy for short-temperedness, because people have been telling her. I asked her, "Do you feel you're short-tempered?" She's like,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't know." So
Mm-hmm.
you're not aware of yourself.
Yeah.
So first, you become aware of your
Mm-hmm.
emotions. Then you find out where is it coming from. What is
Mm-hmm.
the root cause of it? Am I responding or reacting back to this person because of this conversation, or there's a trigger
Yeah.
behind somewhere?
Yeah.
It is coming from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to identify that. If
Mm-hmm.
you're becoming aware of these two things, then you also can meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation really gives gives you a lot of clarity in your thoughts. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people think that when they are depressed, when they have problems, they need to
Mm-hmm.
meditate. Then it is like
Yeah.
you can't leave, you cannot leave your house unclean every day. You
Yes.
clean it on everyday basis, but on Diwali and Eid you do special
Mm-hmm.
cleaning, like
Yeah.
all the corners. That is how you need to meditate. You need to meditate every day,
Mm-hmm.
every day. Maybe some days take a meditation workshop,
Mm-hmm.
maybe take something extra for yourself,
Yeah.
that is self care, self
Mm-hmm.
pampering, self uh, cultivate that.
Mm-hmm.
But meditate on everyday basis so that your thoughts are clear,
Mm-hmm.
your focus increases,
Mm-hmm.
your concentration, it increases your productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Physical exercise, again, I always insist on physical exercise. People
Mm-hmm.
think, oh, physically kya hota hai? When we were in ancient times, we were physically very active, we were doing
Mm-hmm.
a lot of physical labor.
Mm-hmm.
Now the lifestyle is becoming sedentary,
Yeah.
and we are not doing so much so we need to have no more physical activity to release those endorphins, happy hormones, so that
Mm-hmm.
we have more oxygen in our body.
Yeah.
More oxygen would mean fresh thoughts, good sleep, good appetite, no PCOD, no
Mm-hmm.
thyroid,
Yeah.
lifestyle. Where the diabetes has also become now lifestyle disease. It is
Mm-hmm.
no more hereditary. People tell me, "Oh, my father is diabetic. I will also have diabetes." I'm like, no. If you take exercise, if you do good, take good care of yourself, you will not
Exactly.
have that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have physical exercise, meditation, becoming aware of your thoughts. Plus, one more important thing, building this emotional resilience, empathy. Empathy, when you say empathy, that is a contribution.
Mm-hmm.
It is, there are researches. If you are someone who volunteers,
Yeah.
who contributes, you
Mm-hmm.
feel happier
Yeah.
because you have a sense of satisfaction, a
Action.
sense of achievement, that
Mm-hmm.
you did something not for money but for a cause.
Mm-hmm.
So connect with the cause. It can be a plantation drive, it
Mm-hmm.
can be working in an animal shelter, it can be working in an old age home, it can be working on anything. But take a cause.
Mm-hmm.
Like I connect myself a lot with plantation drives because for me
Yeah.
trees are very important. I like there is a thing also that
Mm-hmm.
people might, if a tree is cut or tree is fallen, people can get into depression. The
Mm-hmm.
psychology, they can feel so connected with it. So
Yeah.
I am that kind of person. So that becomes a cause for me. Every year I have to plant so many trees. So full year I grow those trees, plants at home. I
Mm-hmm.
take care of them. Then I plant them outside. Then I go and check on them whether they are flourishing, they are
Wow.
growing good.
No, this is really good, and you are actually also into this animals domain as well, right? Because you have a dog, I know.
So you need to find out what works for you. For
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, humans work, so they should
Yeah.
go to orphanages, old age homes.
Mm-hmm.
I work with old age homes. I work with plantation drives and animals. I don't work with children a lot.
Yeah.
I don't connect a lot with children, which
Yes.
is okay. Some people
Yeah.
do, some people. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people tell me that, oh, you have a problem with your childhood. I said I like them, but I feel I don't have
Yeah.
so much of energy,
Yes.
continue to be
Yeah.
with them all the time. And I wouldn't want to take a space of a volunteer in a child care home and then not give that love and care to the child.
Yes.
I don't have that right to deprive that
Yeah.
child. So I find out what is my capability, what is the
Mm-hmm.
best thing. So one
Exactly.
needs to find that. And if you do all these things, you will definitely build that resilience, and that
Mm-hmm.
emotional will go higher.
Mhm. And I think empathy also comes from a very personal perspective. So, like for me, I'm not an animal person. I'm like scared of dogs. But for me, kids and female empowerment is like something which really comes from like very within, and it feels effortless. And it is like
Yeah,
very
the
important to my
effortless is
course.
the word actually.
Yeah.
Yes, so you need to find it for yourself. What works for you?
Mm-hmm.
That's what. For me, animals. I always tell
Yeah.
people. I guess snake would be the only reptile animal now. I would not touch because I feel before he senses I'm not a danger, he would have bitten me. It would have bitten me. So I guess that is the only thing I have not. Otherwise, I'm not scared of tigers. I'm not scared of bears. I'm not scared of
Wow.
any animal. So it feels effortless for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. People look at those cows with big horns. They're like, "Kitna scary hai." I'm like, look at their eyes, so innocent.
Yeah.
We have different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
So yes, it needs to be effortless. So
Yeah.
find what is effortless for you
Mm-hmm.
and connect with that cause. That cause
Mm-hmm.
will also give you that
Mm-hmm.
emotional
Mm-hmm.
boost.
Yes, that's amazing. I have one question from my personal perspective here. So when you were talking about building emotional resilience, so I've turned as an entrepreneur in the past 1.5 to 2 years, and I feel personally I have a lot of difficulties in professional environments controlling my emotions. In the sense, people can push my buttons very easily by saying like really wrong things, like like kind of discriminating or something like this. In personal environment it's very easy for me because I can confront a person. Professional environment is somewhere I draw a line. And as you grow, you must have also faced, you're an entrepreneur yourself, it is difficult. And when you start going into the corporate worlds, like a man's world where it's dominated by men, it becomes difficult because men see as, oh, you're too emotional. How can this part we can address, that women are emotionally resilient when it comes to the corporate world?
I guess it again goes back to your past. What
Mm-hmm.
have your experiences been with men
Yeah.
or with people in general?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to reflect back, where was it where I was told that I'm not able to handle the emotions?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in school, maybe in
Yeah.
college, maybe outside with the friends, like,
Mm-hmm.
or friends. It
Mm-hmm.
can come from there. But if you are someone who can build personally, have that emotional resilience and
Yeah.
emotional coefficient is higher,
Mm-hmm.
it will not impact then, all
Mm-hmm.
these triggers will not impact you. But there are unresolved issues.
Mm-hmm.
It is not that just because they told you you are a woman, you are an you have less control over your emotions. No,
Mm-hmm.
it is because you believe that you are a woman and you have less control.
Mm-hmm.
It is never about another person, it is
It
always
is
about
about
you.
within. Mm-hmm.
We have these insecurities in ourselves,
Yeah,
and then when we say it directly clicks.
exactly. That's
It
what we
directly
push the
clicks.
buttons, right? Because the button is
Yeah.
exists from within us.
Yes. So you need to work on those buttons. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
work with a life coach, work with a. I'm working with this. She's herself a trainer for animals,
Mm-hmm.
and she when she came to me, she said, I feel judged if they ask me a question.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's a very intelligent person, and
Yeah.
you ask her any questions, she can give you answers like this.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly all the questions which she might have prepared in her mind,
Mm-hmm.
but if anything comes out of syllabus, she
Mm-hmm.
feels judged.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to see my, achievement. They are trying to see my knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
trying to judge. So when we started working together, and it was a life coaching thing going on, and I was like, have you ever thought that they might not have the knowledge, and they are trying to get the knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, but why would they ask me that question which no one asked?
Yeah.
Because human minds are different.
Mm-hmm.
You have a different experience. Some people really ask very small, tiny, simple questions which
Yeah.
you feel, how can he even ask that?
Yeah.
But we have to come from a space that not everyone is same.
Mm-hmm.
How your mind works, that person's mind does not work like. So you need to work on your triggers.
Mm-hmm.
What is it triggering me? Why is it triggering me? Why, when
Mm-hmm.
that person said that, what happened? When was the another time I got triggered? And okay,
Mm-hmm.
before that, where did it come from?
Mm-hmm.
I was working with this person. She, every time she would, in her first session, she started talking a lot about respect and privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything she would, I say, what is the ideal relationship where
Mm-hmm.
people respect,
Mm-hmm.
where people have privacy?
Mm-hmm.
And now you wouldn't believe, when we went into the session and I was doing a deep session, which is based on hypnotherapy, and we were doing the deep session, she went back, now in her 30s, she went back to her 9-year-old, where she was, uh, her friend's father had misbehaved with her
Mm-hmm.
in a dark room.
Mm-hmm.
So room was supposed to be a private space,
Mm-hmm.
which he
Yeah.
invaded the privacy,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt disrespected when
Good.
he touched her.
Yeah.
So she got it all the way until now, and it
Mm-hmm.
was subconscious that every time
Exactly.
somebody would touch her without her permission, she'll
Mm-hmm.
feel disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
But was this 9-year-old always living inside of her,
Mm-hmm.
who could not tell people that don't touch me, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
That expression did that. And since then, since the therapy, what has happened, if she ever feels that somebody is trying to disrespect, she tells them, hey, I don't feel comfortable if you touch me unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
She saw since then her relationships have become
Better.
clearer,
Mm-hmm.
whether at work, whether at home.
Mm-hmm.
So professional life comes much later.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges would be there, people would judge you, you will
Mm-hmm.
have to every day learn things, have that confidence back, people will try to pull you down. But if you are secure, stable,
Mm-hmm.
certain, which mostly comes from our father,
Mm-hmm.
if our fathers, as a child, if you've seen your father
Mm-hmm.
as a stable, certain and secure person, you
Mm-hmm.
will have all those qualities in you.
Okay.
But does that mean that we cannot cultivate them later? We can definitely get them later also when
Exactly.
we become aware.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly it comes from there. It doesn't come from our mother, it comes from the father.
Does. And this is for the daughters. And for the son?
So sons and daughters both.
Both.
For
Okay.
sons, because that's why they say father is girl's first hero and
Yes.
first love and son's first hero.
Okay.
Because he's the first figure they look
Mm-hmm.
up
Mm-hmm.
for stability, for security, for certainty. An
Mm-hmm.
abusive father makes like then either the children will be very submissive,
Mm-hmm.
they will have low self esteem and no
Hmm.
confidence, or they will be totally like
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Well, this is
And
very
if
true,
my
and in my case, that's actually very very true because my father is also a very emotional person. So I do think that I get it from him because my mother is very practical when it comes to processing emotion like this. She's very well projecting herself in front of audience, but my father does get emotional and angry, and I think I never thought of that very frankly. Thank you
yeah,
so.
because every time you go to the mother, no, बच्चा
Yeah.
कुछ भी करते we are like, what kind of mother are you? What kind of upbringing are you are? We never realize it comes from the other half of it.
And I'm pretty sure right now, although mothers will be saying, see, this is because of you only. Thank you so much, Aruba. So, my next question would be the final last question is how can we make use of emotional resilience and emotional intelligence to deal with our day to day mental health issues? If you have an example, maybe a story where a person in your therapy started doing art, meditation, and was able to take care of their stress and these kind of issues.
You know, yes, definitely. If someone has built good emotional resilience and good
Mm-hmm.
emotional coefficient, they will be good at commitments, they'll be very productive at work, they will have this free expression of speech and
Mm-hmm.
emotions, they will have this confidence in them.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and you definitely can uh, just ask yourself what actually does help you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that art class or that
Mm-hmm.
meditation class? A lot of times people think that why these classes, why
Mm-hmm.
should I go for these group sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and when I can afford having a private session, I
Mm-hmm.
can learn better. But
Yeah.
when you're with other people, you release more stress. you
Yeah.
are you see other people talking about their emotions, and then there might be people like me, two people in a room, and people who don't express their emotions, three people. But when those three people see two of us, they
Mm-hmm.
also come forward, they also start
Mm-hmm.
expressing, they also start talking about it. So it's very important to get into these group sessions,
Mm-hmm.
group class,
Mm-hmm.
nowadays online, but otherwise if possible offline.
Mm-hmm.
Having that, again, another thing is like having that physical touch. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important. And
Mm-hmm.
now if there is no one to touch you like that,
Mm-hmm.
having the gratitude for yourself. Okay, I have my body, I love
Mm-hmm.
my body, I hug my body,
Mm-hmm.
touching it. There's a stress releasing exercise. If you're at work and you are stressed, you're anxious and all, if you keep like just doing hands like this, it releases a lot of stress, and people even don't get to know why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There are particular point, there are particular nerves in your body which
Wow.
gets like comforted, and you release the happy hormones, you are
Mm-hmm.
relaxed, you release
Mm-hmm.
the relaxed hormones. Or you can just like press your points like this
Mm-hmm.
anywhere
Mm-hmm.
in your hands. Then again, like when we go for the massages, what do they do?
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do. They're like pressing at the
Mm-hmm.
points. Now they know the particular points, we don't have to know the particular points.
Mm-hmm.
So all these activities, small, like pranayama,
Mm-hmm.
breathing really helps a lot, because
Yeah.
breathing gives you good oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
good blood flow, you
Mm-hmm.
feel fresh, feel smiley. At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, breathing also allows your body parts to stay straight. So you have
Yeah.
good posture. You have good posture, you have good confidence.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, keep your chin up, keep your shoulders open.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happens with breathing well, because
Mm-hmm.
your organs are growing nicely. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things, these tiny
Tiny
small
details.
things help you, activities help you building this emotional resilience and an
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence, emotional coefficient. And you will see, you'll become a better person who can express when needed. It will not be
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming, or
Mm-hmm.
giving all of a sudden, hi, what has happened, or something like that. No,
Mm-hmm.
it will be like a very controlled and balanced way.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that is what we all need.
Wow, this is so amazing, Aruba. Thank you so much for this amazing session. I personally enjoyed talking. And we see that there's a lot of love for you out there in the comment section. Also, do have a look. Thank you so much for this session. I would like to tell the audience that the live session will be there on Facebook and also on our website www.newfini.com, where you can see all our upcoming events, all the live sessions, and even more details about our product, which is soon to be launching in first week of September. So thank you so much, Aruba, and the audience for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was really an amazing session. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.